Shalom Aleichem, sweetest friends. This is unbelievable. We are continuing our shir on the topic of Birchas HaMitzvahs, that you make them over Li-asiyasan. In the previous shir, we bombarded with kashas b'siyata d'shmaya, and now we are going to see a mahalach in this inyan of over Li-asiyasan, making the bracha before you do the mitzvah. In the Ritva and Mesechus Pesachim, and Daf Zayin, he brings two reasons why we make a bracha before we do the mitzvah. The first reason is in order that you should first become holy with the bracha, and you should reveal and inform that you are doing it because of the mitzvah of Hashem. And another reason he brings is that Brachos are avodas hanefesh, and it's right, it's fitting to be makdim avodas hanefesh l'maisa she avodas haguf. First you do avodas hanefesh, the bracha, and then you do avodas haguf, the Maisa mitzvah. Now let's focus on the first reason. The first reason of the mitzvah was that you are showing that you're doing it b'nei mitzvahs Hashem Yisbarach. In other words, bracha is not just an inyan of the gavra, that a gavra is doing a mitzvah and he's thanking Hashem that he was zeicha to do this mitzvah. But the bracha is also an ashvuye ba-mitzvah. It's also creating a new reality in the Maisa ha-mitzvah, that this mitzvah is a brachadika mitzvah. This mitzvah is being done l'shem shamayim. This mitzvah is being done with Hashem in mind. This mitzvah is holy, it's a holy act. So it's not just merely for the person, but rather it creates a new reality in the mitzvah. And that's why you have to make the bracha, over Li-asiyasan. You have to make it first. Why? Because if you make it after the mitzvah, then the mitzvah is already finished. So how can now the bracha create something new in the mitzvah? No, first you make the bracha. And now the mitzvah is going to be a mitzvah, bracha dika mitzvah. It's going to be a mitzvah that has the bracha written all over it. That it's being done l'shem Hashem. The Or Zarua Nachos Kriya Shema Siman Kuf Mem writes that the Yesod of Brachos HaMitzvahs is that Kishemagia Zman Chiyuvam Yesh Levarach Al Asiyasan Mechamas Chibuv. When the time of the Chiyuv comes, you should make a bracha on doing the mitzvah because of the love. Like it says in the Yerushalmi, Minayin Shekol HaMitzvahs Tu'unos Bracha. How do you know that mitzvahs require a bracha? Rav Kahana B'Shem Rebbe Lazar, Ve'etna L'chas Luchos Even V'Atorah V'Mitzvahs Hikish HaMitzvahs L'Torah. Ma'Torah Tu'una Bracha, Af Mitzvahs Tu'una Bracha. Ad Kan Divrei Or Zarua, who brings from the Yerushalmi. So where do we find in the Yerushalmi that Mishum Chibuv? The Or Zarua says Mishum Chibuv. Where do you find this Chibuv in the words of the Yerushalmi? The Yerushalmi just says, how do you know mitzvahs require a bracha? And they bring from the pasuk Ve'etnachas Luchos Even V'Atorah Mitzvah. I'm going to give you the tablets of stone, the Torah and the mitzvahs, just like Torah requires a bracha, so to mitzvah require a bracha. Where do you see chibuv? So the chibuv that the Or Zarua mentions, this love, is like the lashon of the Ritva. She'egala v'yoidiyah shu'oisoi sim b'nei mitzvahs Hashem. In other words, ratzon v'chavivus la'asiyas mitzvahs Hashem. And that is that the mitzvah that's done it should be clear that you're doing it l'shem Hashem. And that's why he brings a very good raya, that the mitzvahs require a bracha. Just like Torah requires a bracha, mitzvah the Torah. It's not the gavra that requires a bracha. It's the mitzvahs that require a bracha. Because that's the chibuv ha-mitzvah. You want to show that this mitzvah is not a ma'aseh stam, but it's a mitzvah l'shem Hashem. Mitzvahs tu'unos brachos. So you have to show that's the chibuv. The chibuv is that you're doing it l'shem Hashem. Mitzvahs require a bracha, that they should be bracha dika mitzvahs to show that you're doing them l'shem Hashem, and chavivus Hashem, and not stam. And with this we can understand Tosim Psachim Daf Zayin Rad Aleph, Ibra Masel B'Levayer, in the name of Rabbeinu Tam, that the bracha of La'achniso B'Shebemila said with a lamed, even though it's achar hamila. Normally you should make it, the lamed is from when you do it before. So why do you make La'achniso afterwards? Because you're not making the bracha on what's done now. You're mishabeach model Hashem. And they were mitaken it here, legalosu lahodia, Shezo hamila nasa l'shem yotzreinu. That you're doing this bris milah for God, and not for some avodah zarah reason. For ektesis, it's not over Li-asiyasan. It's not over Li-asiyasan. How do you do without? How do you make a bracha without it being over Li-asiyasan? Answers Tosfos, Rabbeinu Tam, that you don't have to make a bracha over Li-asiyasan. Only when the one doing the mitzvah is the one making the bracha. But since here the one doing the mitzvah is not the one making the bracha, the father makes the bracha, the mother does the mitzvah. The mela you can make the bracha afterwards, and it doesn't have to be before. And the lamed, the reason you're making it with the lamed is because Tamir Mishabech Model Hashem. Even though it's after the mitzvah, if it was before, we'd understand why it's with a lamed. But after you're doing it, you're saying it with a lamed because it's l'hodos l'Hashem. What about over Li-asiyasan? The answer is that it's okay because only has to be over Li-asiyasan when the person making the bracha is the one who does the mitzvah. But here they're two different people. And in this the Maharsha writes, and also look in the Kesef Mishnah, Perikah Milchus Me'alacha Aleph, that the Rosh in Shabbos answers the kasha of over Li-asiyasan by saying that since it's a Birchas HaShevach, you don't need over Li-asiyasan. Right? It's like Tosfos mentions the Birchas HaShevach. Birchas HaShevach don't require over Li-asiyasan. Like other Birchas HaShevach, in Rosh, Shabbos, Perek Yutes, in Yud, in the Korban Nisanel there, in Sivkat Nun, in the Choretz Muchrach. So why did Rabbeinu Tam himself say that? Rabbeinu Tam himself, that would have been beautiful. Could have said, you're saying it with a lamed, even though you're doing it after the mitzvah, and it doesn't have to be over Li-asiyasan, because you're doing it after the mitzvah, and therefore it's the shevach, and that's why you could say it with a lamed. And that's why you don't need over Li-asiyasan, because it's for shevach, and it's not a birchas ha-mitzvah. So why didn't Rabbeinu Tam answer that? So based on what we said, you can answer as follows: that normally a birchas ha-shevach is not an ashvuye b'davar. It doesn't create any new reality in the thing you're doing the mitzvah with, in the mitzvah item or the mitzvah act, and therefore it doesn't require over Li-asiyasan. But since Rabbeinu Tam says, then why are you making this birchas ha-shevach? Legalos ulahodia, to show that this meal is being done l'shem yotzreinu, for God, and not for avodah zarah, not for any stupid reasons. So here there is a siachsis l'maisa. You are relating to the maisa. You are being megala on the maisa. So you're right. It's not changing the maisa. It's not an ashvuye b'maisa because it's a birchas ha-shevach and not a birchas ha-mitzvah. But it does relate to the maisa. There's a siachsis l'maisa to show that it's being done l'shem Hashem. And since you have to be over Li-asiyasan, because it relates to the maisa, so you would think that this birchas ha-shevach also has to be done over Li-asiyasan because it relates to the maisa. And therefore, telling us that it's a birchas ha-shevach isn't enough, because this birchas ha-shevach relates to the maisa mitzvah. Yeshit yachasut l'maaseh mitzvah. And therefore, telling me that it's only a birchas ha-shevach doesn't have to be done before here doesn't help. Because here it's not in general shevach, it's showing that this mitzvah is being done to be megal, not just stop praising Hashem, but megal that this mitzvah is being done for Hashem. So therefore that should require that it should be done prior to the mitzvah act. And therefore Rabbeinu Tam had to come on to another reason. That another person is doing it. If another person is doing it, even in Birchas HaMitzvahs, you don't need over Li-asiyasan. Otherwise, you would have to do it over Li-asiyasan. And that would also appear to be Mavur Lahedja and Rashi. In Brachos, Daf Tesvav and Aleph, Dibur Masla, Bracha to Rabbanan. And what it says in the Gemara, that you can be Mafresh Truma without a Bracha, Ayin Sham. So I'm at Lo Shmiya La'aznav, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that normally it doesn't help with Kriya Shema. But here it could be Mafresh Truma V'loi Bracha if you weren't Mashmiya La'aznav at a Bracha. So, Ad Kan Lo Yikam Rabbi Yehuda Lo Yotza. So when are you not Yotzei? When are you not Yotzei? When does Rabbi Yossi say you're not Yotzei? Alagabe Kriya Shema D'Oraisa. It's Kriya Shema D'Oraisa that you're not Yotzei. Lo Shmiya La'aznav Aval Truma Mishum Brachehu Ubracha D'Rabbanan V'lo B'Truma Talia Milsa. But the Truma is because of the Bracha. By Truma we're not dealing with the D'Oraisa. By Truma we're dealing with the mere Bracha. And a Bracha is D'Rabbanan. And it's not totally in the Truma, Rashi writes. The Bracha D'Rabbanan hu. All we're dealing with is a Bracha which is only D'Rabbanan. We're not dealing with the Truma itself. Masha'amru Rabbanan, the Kol Mitzvahs Kulam Mevarach Aleim Over Li-asiyasan. The rabbis say that you make the brachas before you do the mitzvah. So you see that brachas are only rabbinic. So since brachas are only rabbinic, you can be mafresh truma without a bracha and still be yotzei truma. Even though you're not yotzei the bracha, even though it's lo shmiya la'aznav, but it's still going to be a good truma because the truma isn't totally in the bracha because the bracha is only the Rabbanan. As the rabbis say, Rashi says that all mitzvahs you make a bracha on them over Li-asiyasan. Ad kan divrei Rashi, but it's very shver because here we're talking about the etzem chiyuv habracha of birchas hamitzvahs, that it's only the Rabbanan, and that Rabbi Yossi says that the bracha isn't necessary. Now, why does Rashi bring the statement of Yehuda Amar Shmuel that all brachas are over Li-asiyasan? All mitzvahs, you make a bracha on them over Li-asiyasan. That's not what we're talking about over here. We're talking about the bracha being d'Rabbanan. Why does Rashi bring in that you have to make brachas over Li-asiyasan? That's a different inyan. Rabbi Kiva Eger was homemade on this, and then it goes before Shiyam, and then it goes to Halavushim Pesachim Simon Beis, and the Maratz Chayis in brachas, and the Ksaf Sofer and Orach Chaim Siman Chaf Aleph. So a lot of people discuss this kasha, like what's Rashi bringing in this inyan of over Li-asiyasan? All that's important for us to know is that a bracha is merely d'Rabbanan, and therefore Yachasit d'Oraisa, and therefore the Truma is chal even without the bracha. So based on what we explained, we can answer as follows: that Miloshan HaGemara bracha d'Rabbanan, v'lo b'bracha Talia Milsa. We see that if the bracha would be d'Oraisa, then the hafrasha would be tluya b'bracha, and then the hafrasha wouldn't be chal without a bracha. And that's what's written there in the Tosas Roshan brachas, Ayin Sham, and the Pnei Yoshua in the Sugya, and the Shagis Aryeh and Siman Zayin, and there's a Grois Arichus in the Dvar Avram and Chelek Aleph Siman. There's Zayin, with the Kasha Rebbe Chanan Wasserman, then in Birchas HaTorah, that's D'Oraisa, L'das HaRamban. So the bracha should be ma'akev, because we say that if the bracha is Mashim Rashi, that if the bracha is D'Oraisa, the bracha is ma'akev. But if the bracha is d'Rabbanan, the bracha is not ma'akev. So that's why, according to Rabbi Yossi, b'di'evet, if a person was mafresh without a bracha, he's yotzei because the bracha is only d'Rabbanan. But if the bracha were d'Oraisa, then he wouldn't be yotzei. Now, why is this? If the bracha is d'Oraisa, what that means is that d'Oraisa, the hafrasha, was given in such a way that it should be b'bracha. And therefore, without a bracha, there's a pagam in the hafrasha, and the hafrasha wouldn't be chal. And that the Gemara says that this inyan, that there's a chalos ben mitzvah al yedei bracha, is only d'Rabbanan. And therefore, lo bebracha talia milsa, because the mitzvah was given min haTorah without a bracha. Had the mitzvah been given min haTorah with a bracha, and that bracha we know makes a chalos in the mitzvah, that would mean that if you didn't make the bracha, then you didn't do the mitzvah. But since the bracha on that freshest truma is only d'Rabbanan, the bracha is not li'ikuva, it's not totally in the bracha. You're right, the bracha is an ashvuya in the mitzvah, but it's not only d'Rabbanan, but not d'Oraisa. So therefore, when the Gemara says that brachas derabanan, it not doesn't only mean the chiyuv brachas derabanan, but what the bracha is poyeles b'mitzvah, how the bracha affects the mitzvah. And on that the Gemara says that it's not min haTorah, it's only midrabanan. So we see that midrabanan, there's a bracha b'mitzvah. And on that Rashi brings kol ha-mitzvahs v'arachalem over Li-asiyasan, because that's what we're trying to show over here. We're trying to show like this. Since it's only derabanan the bracha, meaning that it only affects the mitzvah, it only shapes the mitzvah. On a derabanan level, therefore, on a doraisa level, the truma is a good truma without it. So you could be yotzei hafrasha without a bracha. But if hafrasha would be if the bracha would be doraisa, then your truma wouldn't be a good truma, because that means min haTorah, the bracha has to shape, the bracha has to mold, the bracha has to create a proper hafrasha's truma by being megala that you're doing it l'shem Hashem. And therefore, if one didn't make a bracha, he would not be yotzei. But the Gemara says, don't worry about it though. Bracha is only derabanan, and it's not totally that hafrasha is not totally in the bracha. And on that Rashi brings not only that bracha is derabanan, Rashi brings that the over Li-asiyasan is derabanan. That making brachas over Li-asiyasan is derabanan. To tell you that this whole inyan of brachas making the mitzvah, determining what type of mitzvah you're doing, is only derabanan. Because if it would be doraisa, then you wouldn't be yotzei. That was the whole point of the Gemara and Rashi, is to be mechalik between the derabanan and doraisa, as far as the bracha is concerned, not as far as the bracha is concerned, but how the bracha affects, shapes the mitzvah. So if the mitzvah is, if the bracha is doraisa, that means doraisa, it needs a doraisa a tinge to it. It needs a doraisa shape to it. So therefore, without a bracha, it would be nothing. But since bracha is only derabanan, you only have to be megala that derabanan that you're doing it l'shem Hashem. But doraisa, it's a good ma'isa even without the bracha. Therefore, you're yotzei, and that Rashi correctly brings kol ha-mitzvahs v'arachalem over Li-asiyasan, to show that it's only derabanan that you have to do over Li-asiyasan, and the whole point of over Li-asiyasan is you're doing it, making the bracha before, as we explained, in order to shape this bracha, in order to show why shape this mitzvah, in order to show why you're doing the mitzvah. Beautiful. With this, we can also explain the she'iltas in mitzvah kuf and pidyon kerem revayin chutz la'aretz, redeeming the 4th year of the vineyard in chutz la'aretz, that you make a shir kedushan of sen while pidyon kerem. And this he brings kol mitzvahs v'arachalem over Li-asiyasan and hamek sheila and sifkat yud beis. He's omen on this. The she'iltas just writes that you have to make a bracha. He doesn't say it has to be over Li-asiyasan. So what does he bring? The words of Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel that it has to be over Li-asiyasan. He just brings that you have to make a bracha. So based on what we explained, we can answer as follows. With Hamek sheila, the Netziv writes there in Os Yud that there's no mitzvah b'pidyon revai b'chutz la'aretz, and it's only a maisem matir on the peiros. There's no mitzvah of pidyon revai in chutz la'aretz, it's a maisem matir on the peiros. And the bracha is tluya, the machlokas Rambam Raibit in the 6th parak of Hilchos Eruv and Halacha of Dalid, if you make a bracha on Eruv Tchumim, which is just a matir and not a mitzvah ayin sham, the machlokas over there. So we could say, according to this, that the reason of this bracha, that it's not a mitzvah, to thank afterwards, the reason of this bracha, which is not a mitzvah. So why do you make this bracha and thank Hashem? Sher Kiddusha, blessed are you Hashem, who commanded us, and pidyon kerem. Why do you make a bracha if it's just a matir? And it's not necessarily a mitzvah. Right? We have a machlokas. You make a bracha on Erev Tchumin, which is a matir or not a mitzvah. So why by pidyon revai, which is only a matir, are you necessarily making a bracha? So the answer is to show and to be kovea b'maisa, shemaisa shel Torah pol b'shel Torahu, v'lo maisa b'alma. You're showing that it's not stam an empty maisa, You're showing that it's a Maisa HaPoel B'Shel Torah. So it's just like a bracha on a mitzvah. What's the purpose of the bracha on the mitzvah? To show that you're not doing Stama Maisa and empty Maisa. You're doing it for Hashem. So here also, when you're making this bracha on Kerem Revai, since it's only a matir, you're going to say, if it's only a matir, then why are you making a bracha? The answer is to show that this is a Maisa of Torah. This is a Maisa matir al pi Torah. So that's the same idea as a Birchas HaMitzvah. Say before you make it afterwards. You're not making it after, you're making it before. But the point of this bracha that you're making on the Kerem Revai, when you're mafresh Kerem, when you make the bracha on redeeming the Kerem Revai, is to show that this is a Maisa of Torah and it's not Stama Maisa. And that is apropos. It is apropos to bring Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel, who says, "Kol mitzvahs mevarach over Li-asiyasan." And this isn't a mitzvah. This isn't a mitzvah, Astanitzi. The answer is yeah, but you need the bracha for the same reason as Birchas HaMitzvahs. Just like Birchas HaMitzvahs is to show that this mitzvah is being done l'shem Hashem, so too, when you're doing the Maisa Pidyon, which is this matir, you have to show that you're doing it. It's a Maaseh Torani. It's a Torah Dika Maisa. We also see this inyan in what the Rambam writes in the first paragraph of Brachos Halacha Gimel. Ukashem shemavarchan al hanoah. Just like you make a bracha on hanoah, the Rambam writes there on Halacha Gimel, midivrei sof from the bracha kol machal tchila b'achach yahaneh. First you make the bracha on the machal, and then you eat your nene. Kach mevarcham al kol mitzvah mitzvah achach yasei. So then you make a bracha on every mitzvah, and then you do a pashtus. And the Rambam writes, levarich ve'achar kach. The Rambam is telling us it didn't over Li-asiyasan. Kach mevarchen al kol mitzvah mitzvah achar kach yasos over Li-asiyasan. So l'chorah, this over Li-asiyasan is a prat b'dinei Brachos. The Rambam writes it. Perak Yud Aleph Halacha Gimel. And here the Rambam is talking about geder v'sug shel bracha. Because the Rambam first talks, he says Birchas Hanenin, then Birchas HaMitzvahs, and then Birchas Hoidah. Afterwards, the Rambam talks about Birchas Hoidah. So why is the Rambam, when he's being magdir, the etzem ha-mitzvah, why does he come and tell us a detail? Oh! And it should also be over Li-asiyasan. When you do a mitzvah, do it over Li-asiyasan. No, you're categorizing mitzvah, you're categorizing brachas, hano, mitzvah, shevach, hodah. So why do you have to bring in this prat of over Li-asiyasan? When you're being magdir the etzem ha-bracha? So we see that it's not just a prat, it's actually the Yesod of these brachas. The brachas chal in the mitzvah itself. And therefore it's mischayev from this, that the person should make the bracha and then do the mitzvah. That this should be asiyah shel mitzvah shel achar bracha. It's an under sort mitzvah, different mitzvah. It has a shem acher shel asiyah. It's a different type of asiyah because he made a bracha. Just like Birchas Hanenin. What's Birchas Hanenin? Birchas Hanenin also, you want to be poel b'gufa davar. Look in the Sefer Mafteach with the Achronim. Write about this tzushta. But in the Birchas Hanenin, you want to be poel b'gufa davar. Like it says in the Rambam, halacha beis, al pi hagmara b'brachot, af lamed hem et aleph, she'oichel b'loi bracha mo'al, ayin sham. So we see that the poelis ha-bracha b'davar ha-nechal, it's mafkia the davar ha-nechal midei mi'ila. So that's gevaldik. And it's a schus to eat it. It was holy, and now for God, and now you're making a bracha to allow yourself to eat this holy thing. So it's poil on the object. So too Birchas HaMitzvah is poil on the mitzvah. Kishem. So too Birchas HaMitzvahs. And Memela, it has to be over Li-asiyasan. Just like before you eat it, you have to make the bracha in order that it shouldn't be me'ilah. So too, before you do the mitzvah, you have to make a bracha in order to show that you're doing it for Hashem. It's poil in the mitzvah. And then the Rambam's mamshich, and he says, "Ubrachas rabbos tiknu chamim derech sherach v'edah v'derech bakosha k'dei lizkor saborei tamid Alf bishlo nene b'lo asa mitzvah. Many brachas that the Chachamim were metaking by way of Shevach and Oidoya, Derech Bakosha, in order to remember God always, even though you're not nene, you're not doing a mitzvah. In other words, in contrast to the other brachas, which are creating a new mitzius of the hana, it's allowing the hana. It's creating a mitzius in the mitzvah that you're doing this l'shem mitzvah, and it's not stam an empty act, rather you're doing it l'shem Hashem. And therefore it's a brach al dover sheyesh b'hem hana, or asiyas ha-mitzvah. But if you have brachas that are not an ashvuye b'davar, acher, kol ikarom, the whole essence of these brachas is derech sheva, you're thanking God, but it's not an ashvuye, it's not creating any chalois, any mitzias, any new creation on this object, on this maisa. Rather, it's in general, it's a praise to Hashem, in contrast to the brachas of hanen and brachas of mitzvahs, which are an ashvuye, which are yitzirah chadasha in this mitzvah. That now this mitzvah is being done l'shem Hashem, or that this me'ilah is now mutter. This food was me'ilah, and now it's mutter by this bracha. So it's an ashvuye in the chayfetz. It's creating something new in the object. Now it's mutter b'hana, now you can eat it. And we see this in the shaychus of brachas hanen with brachas ha-mitzvahs, also in the din, that the Gemara says in brachas mem gimel mem beis, v'nifzak b'shulchan aruch b'simin reish vav sif dalid, sheva brachas hanen, and you have to hold it in your right hand. Ayin sham mishnah berurah b'sif katan yud ches shem achronim, and so too brachas ha-mitzvahs. Ayin sham, and so too in the Baal HaMaor and Pesachim Zayin Amud Beis Lin Tiyas Lulav. And that's the union we've been talking about, that since Birchas Hanenin is not a Birchas Haidah Shel HaGavra Al Atzmai, that he's self-thanking God. Rather, Yesh Kan Bracha Mityacheset V'chala Al HaChefetz Shebaim Le'echol Oto. This bracha relates to the object you're going to eat. You need an Achitza B'davar. You need to hold on to it. To be Mishayich, the bracha that the Gavra was saying to what he's holding in his hand. So sai by Birchas Hanen and sai by Birchas HaMitzvah, you have to hold it in your hand. Because you're creating this new mitzias in this object. Whether that, it's not just you're thanking God, but that now this Maisa Mitzvah with this object is being done for Hashem. And this Maisa of Hana is now mutter because I made the bracha which takes off the Yisr Me'ilah. So they both relate to this object and the Maisa you're doing with the object, and it's not stam the person. So therefore both Birchas Hanen and Birchas HaMitzvah have to hold the object to show that there's a siachsus to the object that you're going to eat or you're going to do the mitzvah with. If this isn't stam, you're holding an object and you're doing a Maisa with the object. But rather, this is a mitzvah object. And therefore you're making the bracha, you're holding it. So b'siyata d'shmaya, we learned a lot, and we have a long way to go, sweet friends, to understand the inyan of Brachos over Li-asiyasan, and hopefully we are going to continue. Hashem should give us the koach and the moach and the simchas chayim to continue this shir and have many other shir b'siyata d'shmaya. The simcha b'tuv lev of Meirov Kol, and always to remember that after all the beautiful lamdas and chedushim and kashas and terutzim, Seif davar akol nishma, es Elohim yira, ves mitzvosav shmor, ki zeh kol adam. Shalom, shalom, sweetest and most beloved.